These are principles that I did not invent or create. These are principles that I learned.
Facebook, what's going on with you, Facebook? We are on the road heading to Atlanta Airport International to New York City. New York City, here we come, New York City. Can't wait. We're going to do a Saturday training there. And man, I'm looking forward. It's been about 2 years since I've been in New York to do anything. So I got agents on the ground right now waiting for my arrival. And so that's going to be a blessing to pick me up from the airport and to get me to my destination. So, Mr. Duncan, how are you, sir? Brandon, good morning, sir. Good morning. Mr. Thomas, good morning. So I was listening to 25 Secrets of Wealth Creation, and man, this guy here is amazing. That's really the ultimate success. So we're here on the road again, you know, going to go help some people. Man, who we got on here? Mr. Thomas, how are you? Be safe. Once again, that is correct, brother. We're gonna get it done. Get it done. 100%. Hey, Brandon, I didn't see you this morning, brother, at the schoolhouse. Let's see if we can do some invites. Let's do some invites here. How do I do some invites? Let's invite some people. "25 Secrets to Wealth Creation."
Compared to what broke people do and think. Now, if you're listening to this, there's a good chance that you're not wealthy. There's a good chance that it would, and with all due respect to you listening, but there's a good chance that you don't have any money, that you may be very stressed out over your finances. You may be heavily in debt, and you may wonder if there is a way out. And I can just tell you this: no matter how bad your situation looks right now financially, there categorically is a way out, and it can be faster than you could ever imagine. But you have to be open to these particular principles. So let me start with the principles. The first principle is what we call the teachability index. If a person is to achieve success, financial success, wealth, monetary financial freedom, you have to be coachable. You have to be teachable. Every successful person is an excellent student. They are very teachable. They listen, they observe, and they learn. Broke people, on the other hand, know everything. And I see that all the time in my life. People come up to me who have no money, and they want to learn some success principles, but...
Mrs. Sean Harris, what's up, brother? I'm listening to 25 Secrets of Wealth Creation. I have to get you a CD as soon as I see you. I'll be back in Atlanta on Tuesday. Brother, it's amazing. I had this CD for over 9 years. I went to an event about 9 years ago, and of course, I didn't even listen to it. And it's amazing. I picked it up about a week ago, and I promise you, it puts so much growth and self-development in me. It's amazing. If you could come online, I'm gonna invite you, Sean Harris. I'm gonna invite you to come online with me and talk. I'll talk about wealth creation in a few minutes. Okay?
Talking, they didn't even ask me any questions, and it's amazing to me because when I start to give them one bit of information, you can just see they shut it off. They don't even want to listen, and in many cases, they tell me that I'm wrong. And I'm looking at the guy thinking, okay, you're flat broke. You don't have two nickels to rub together. And you're and you came here for some information, but immediately you saying that what I'm telling you is wrong. And so they're not teachable. They'll stay broke the rest of their life until they wake up and become teachable. So here's the teachability index. The first question is, how teachable are you? Now, the teachability index, and here's the test I'm going to give you right now, is there's two variables in the teachability index which will determine how teachable you are. And if you're not teachable right now, the good news is you can change that and become teachable. And I have to tell you that throughout my life, I have been both very teachable and very unteachable. So I've shifted on this teachability index, and most of the people that I know that are super wealthy, guys who have hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, shift as well. And we have to keep slapping ourselves sometimes and go back and go, we need to be teachable if we're going to continue to achieve super financial success or success in any area. Here's the two variables. The first question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your willingness to learn this information about wealth creation? What is your willingness to learn?
Hey, Sean, I just sent you a request. All you got to do is click on the screen, and you is.
Hey, what's up, Johnny?
You doing all right?
I'm good, brother. What's going on with you?
Good. We're going to have some viewers. A lot of people definitely on my organization that's on the line. Mr. Desmond Hines, he's actually driving to New York to pick me up at the international airport so we can do us training. But this CD, the 25 Secrets to Wealth Creation, is so powerful, bro. And you being an entrepreneur all your life into real estate, done wrote several books. How many books you done wrote, Sean?
15. I was actually writing one on the plane yesterday, so that'll be 16. I'll be putting out here in about another week and a half.
Wow. Wow. And of course, your little guy, I want you to tell the story to the viewers that's going to be coming on my Facebook, what happened to your son in school. When I read that blew my mind. But I understood it is because of what society tried to implement the seeds in our young children. So just tell the story, and what did you do as a parent?
Yeah, my son, Caden, he has a company called Daddy Did You Know? And the inception of it was, he came to me every day. He would say, Daddy, did you know? And he would bring me new information. And, a lot of it in the beginning, I knew the information. So, as a dad, you still just kind of like, oh, okay, go ahead and educate me in that area. But his questions started getting advanced. And I remember one day he came home, Johnny, and he was like, Daddy, do you know what hydrochloro something was? And I was like, yeah, but you tell me what it is, which I didn't know, obviously. But it was absorbent material that's used in diapers. So, of course, as a parent, I went and Googled it, and in fact, it was correct. So he would come to me every day with information like that. So I said, you know what, let's start your tutorial channel. And that is the inception of his company. And he has financial flashcards for real estate, mortgage lending, banking terms. And these are flashcards that are beneficial for both kids as well as adults, because most adults don't know all the cards and theories. So he started a company, and he had a guidance
counselor. Now, hold on, Sean, let the viewers know how old your son is.
He's 8. He just turned 8 years old. And so we got him started business. I take him to business conferences with me. He got custom-made suits and everything. But he went to school. And he told him, he said, well, I'm a business owner now. I'm an author and a speaker. And the teacher said, you know what? That's not a career. That's not a job. And he said, well, that's the career I choose right now that I'm already actively involved in. So he said, I'm not going to argue with you. Okay, but I'm still going to do that, and that's what I do successfully now. So,
wow.
We have to watch what these people are putting in our children's head and their psyche, because, I remember, Johnny, when I was in the 11th grade, I had a career counselor who told me, based on my scholastic scores, my academic education, that the most I'd amount to was a warehouse worker. I was a C student, just wanted to see my way out of there. And you know me, Johnny. As you see, I got the shirt on. I went on to the Air Force and I have background in aeronautics, aerospace propulsion. So, we just go with what these adults put into these kids' head and just run with that. You can change the whole trajectory of a kid with some bad information as opposed to putting good information in the kid.
Wow. Hey, Sean, being an entrepreneur, people that's viewing, I got a couple, one of my regional sales director, she talked to me. I did a cabin retreat with my business team roughly about 6-7 months ago. And she said, Mr. Newsome, I'm thinking about writing a book. And I'm not going to go in detail because if I ever choose to write a book, I want you to get the information from the book. And I said, you know what, Michelle, one of the biggest things that would be great because you never know how that book can change somebody's life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many people going through circumstances and situations in life. And sometimes they don't believe somebody else has ever been in that situation. What would you say to somebody that's thinking about writing a book, or because you're on your 16th one, what would you say to that?
Man, Johnny, I remember as a kid, man, my dad, he always told me, he said, Sean, you got a book inside of you. So I would always just listen to that. And, at an early age, we used to get our allowance just because getting allowance and doing chores. But Dad came to us and said, you know what? You guys are supposed to do chores anyway. So if you want to continue getting an allowance, you need to write an essay. And that was the beginning of me being able to culminate my ideas and be able to articulate and put them from my brain and my heart onto paper. So everybody got a book in you, at least one, but I believe everybody have multiple books, multiple volumes of series. So for that person, I would just tell them, journal it, chronicle your daily activities, and put it all together. And see, the way I write books now, Johnny, is I don't do it the old-fashioned way where I go pen and paper anymore. I use my notepad and my phone because a lot of, like you're driving right now, you got a lot of thoughts and ideas that pop in your head right now, but you can't just start scribbling them down while you're trying to drive. And by the time you pull over, you've lost that thought by the time you get to the side of the road. So what I'm doing is I'm just voice talking in my phone. And what I do is I'll culminate those ideas at a later point, kind of format them, outline them, put them all together. But basically, just throw the mud on the wall and see what sticks. And then at that point, you can start formulating your book better that way. But like you said, Johnny, your story will affect someone. Someone needs to hear your story. But if you keep it, like they say, keep your light under the bushel, you can't get it out. And you don't know how many people you could be affecting in an adverse way by not getting that book out there. So if you got a story to tell, you got to get it out there because you may be that missing piece of the puzzle that someone needed to go to the next level. But because you didn't get your story out there, somebody say, man, somebody else out there just like me, I can relate to exactly what you're saying. And, Johnny, like my daughter, she's about to turn 9. And, her situation with school where she was taken out of the school system. She was actually taken totally out of the system, like disenrolled because of misidentification. Her name is Kennedy with the letter ending in the letter I. They were looking for a Kennedy with the letter Y. So DFACS came and picked up my daughter, and she was missing for like 3 hours. So that was the inception of her company because she didn't want that to happen to any other kids being misidentified. And that's the same thing, we're going to my little man. He's sick today, so he's out of school, but he had an event. But he's going to be hosting his own career day next week, Johnny. So I'm going up to the school, and I'm going to be dealing with that teacher that told him that wasn't a career because his older sister, Kennedy, she's a 2-time author, and she's about to turn 9 years old. And she had her first paid speech. Of course, she made $100 for a 9 minute and 39 second speech. $10 a minute she was making, right? But this lady told these kids speaking isn't a career. I don't know how much she made a day, but here's an 8-year-old who generated $100 in revenue in 10 minutes while telling her story. So, like you said, when the person wants to write that book, it's the same thing. Once you write books, you start thinking on it. Because the story does the same. The story stays the same, and now you can monetize that story in the form of a book as well as being a speaker.
Wow. I caught bits and pieces. I think I was going through a bad area. Can you hear me, Sean?
Yeah, yeah, you froze up just a little bit there, but I got you.
Okay, yeah, I was going through a bad area on 85 North, but you know, it's amazing how the school system can do that to your child, and you're not being aware of what's going. So they actually came to the school, took your daughter, and she was missing for 3 hours, and the
Correct.
school had no knowledge about it.
Oh, they knew about it, but they lied to me about it. They told me different school, but she had been going to that school since she was 2 years old, so she's very acclimated with the bus system and so forth. And you know, they finally came clean and realized that okay, we got to tell him the truth, what happened.
So the school made a huge mistake by giving your daughter to child services for no reason.
Right. And the girl that they were really looking for was obviously in a dangerous situation at home where, you know, they could have sent her home into a dangerous environment because they was actually extracting her from her household and placing her with the grandmother. So, you know, and the whole time while this was going on, Johnny, over in the corner of my eye, I saw this little girl sitting in a chair, but I didn't know who she was. But that was, in fact, the little girl that they were looking for. So, you know, thank God they didn't send that little girl home into a dangerous environment. But at the same time, you took the wrong kid.
Correct.
And you know, it's like, well, sorry it happened. And to this day, Johnny, that happened over a year and some months ago. DFAC still have not given me an official apology. They hadn't even contacted me.
Are you serious?
Yep. So we're still working on some legal issues with that. You know, they have the immunity stuff with the school system, but it's still ways to pierce that immunity.
So that's more than a mistake. That's disrespectful.
Yeah, disrespectful and neglectful.
Correct.
Absolutely.
So, you know, how long you been an entrepreneur, Sean?
Brother, since 1997. So what's that, 21 years?
21 years. 21 years. Um, yeah, very powerful, and it's amazing. We've been knowing each other since 2000. No,
Yep.
yeah, 2000.
2001, something like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Wow, man, years go by, and the growth and everything, and you just got back from Thailand. You went over there and went to Thailand, did some things, enjoyed the world, gave out a couple books to that part of the world. So how was that makeup?
Man, it was cool, man.
Was you invited to come by one of their ambassadors or something like that?
Well, it was an anniversary tour that we did. We went to New York, Italy, Dubai, and Thailand. So we just kind of hit that whole portion of the world. And as a result, you know, I was just meeting people over there, making business contacts, sold a couple books over there. And, you know, the language of success goes across boundaries. You know what I'm saying? No matter what language we speak, everybody understands I want to be successful. I want to be, work towards financial independence. And, you know, when I was talking to the guys, you know, one guy you saw, I was sitting by the pool in Thailand. Man, he was just so excited to be able to learn how he can get out of that situation and, you know, provide for his family financially. So, you know, and again, that's why it's so important to get your books. You know what I'm saying? And then with a book, you can translate that into different languages, but it's the same message around the globe as far as being able to have ownership. Because, you know, I've always said, Johnny, if you don't sign the front and the back of your check, you don't have economic power. And a lot of people are just like, well, I control my life. I was like, well, unless you sign on both sides, you don't. As you see, I'm still in the bed. I just got back from, and that's a cool thing too, Johnny. You know, mom had a little health situation over the weekend. So I dropped what I was doing, jumped on a plane within 24 hours, and been able to spend the whole week down in Florida with my parents, taking care of some family business. But that just comes as a result of earning your own life. You know, having the freedoms, having the time, having the resources, having systems in place where you can create systematic income. Where you know you don't have to. I didn't have to go and ask Johnny. I didn't have to say, "Boss man, can I please go down and see my mom and take care of her?" I just jumped on the plane and
And that's so powerful, you know, being able to, you know, take care of your mom or go to Thailand. I was teaching my business team roughly about 3 weeks ago. There's two significant things you got to have control over in your life, and that's your time and your money. When you have them two things and you have control, then you have a lifestyle. So then you can check out whenever you want and come back whenever you want. And that is so powerful to be able to be in position to do that. Like, you know, I know people that make six figures at their job, and they might have some sick days and they might have some leave time, but you know what? They got to come back whenever that time is done, because if not, they won't be making that six figures no more.
That's right. And you know, I used to have a background in law enforcement, Johnny, and I remember the aha moment when I was able to take a deep breath of relief. I was on my way to Jamaica, and I knew I was going to be leaving the sheriff's department because I had started a couple real estate companies, so I knew I'd be leaving. But like you and I being in the military, if you don't use it, you lose it as far as leave. And man, I had like 74 days of vacation, and I had exhausted about 40-something days. So I got down to the limit where I knew I can go ahead and cash out the rest of that time. And I remember at Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, about to leave out to Jamaica, I remember getting a phone call from this major, and I couldn't stand him. I'm not going to say his name, but his name is Major Ivy. And he got on the phone just yelling, "Harris, you need to come back to work on Monday unless you got express written consent from the sheriff himself." The sheriff and I were very cool. So I knew I was good anyway, because the sheriff had actually told me about 3 months prior. He said, "Harris, if you don't quit, I'm going to fire you within the next 6 months." He said that jokingly because he understood that I was losing money by coming to the sheriff's department to work when I could be out making more money. So I remember getting that phone call, and he said, "Monday or else." And I remember that I told him, "I'll deal with you when I get back at home." And I was for 2 days in Jamaica doing my thing. Came back Sunday. I remember we had that lottery commercial back in the day with 6 days that day. I remember packing up all my uniforms, equipment, my ammunition, my weapon. I put it in a big old box, and I went up there and I just dropped it off on the desk. I said, "You know, today's the day." You know, he said, "You've been burning the candle at both ends." And I was like, "Yep." And your end is getting burnt out, blown out today. And, you know, ever since that day, back in 2001, and I've never worked for a man since. So when you own your own life, like you said, you call the shots.
Well, Facebook, I don't. Can you hear me, Sean? I think we froze.
Johnny, you there?
I got you. We froze. I guess I hit a pocket, but you know, it's so awesome to see an entrepreneur, especially after 21 years. You done seen a lot of ups, you done seen a lot of downs, and you work through the adversity. We're gonna close out this section, but what would you tell the people that's on the fence of trying to take a ride of being an entrepreneur? Maybe write a book or start in real estate or start a network marketing business, what I do in helping people repair their credit. Mm-hmm. What would you say to that?
Man, you just got to do it. You got to get off that fence. You can't steal second base with your foot still on first. You got to let go and just do it. Because, you know, if you do it and fail, at least you know what not to do next time. You've learned from the experience. But if you're sitting there just ding-a-linging around on first base, talk about I'm going to steal second, but you never do it. It's like I'm getting ready to get ready, but you never jump. You got to do it. You got to do it. And rest assured, when you jump, just know it's a net down there. There's a net at the bottom. You know, it might be a hard impact, it might be a subtle impact, but just do it. It's far easier to do. Because here's the deal, Johnny. You're going to do the work anyway. You know, you and I, we've already discussed this before as far as your life will be used to build a dream. Either your dream or the dream of your boss. But either way, your life will fulfill a dream. And you got to determine whose dream that's going to be. You know? So you may be a little intimidated, maybe afraid to do it, but just do it. You know what I'm saying? Because everything in life that we've been so fearful of, so afraid to do is like, oh man, am I going to pass this test? Or if I don't do this, my life is going to come to an end. Here we are. I'm 46 now, Johnny. And all those things that I thought was going to be world-ending situations didn't end the world. You know, we already know fears, false evidence appearing real. Just do it anyway. And, you know, don't be afraid. And if you got a good team around you, good source of people, they're going to get you through the process. You know, they're not going to do the work for you, but they're going to guide you. And network marketing is the absolute best way for national people to be able to learn their own business system and business systems which you accumulate wealth. A lot of times people go out, just like out on their own, try to do the thing, but when you have a system in place, all you do is follow the cookie cutter approach. Because number one at McDonald's, we all know it's the same thing no matter where you are. If you're in Columbia, Georgia, if you're up here in Atlanta, or if you're in Iowa. Number one is a Big Mac. All hamburgers taste like no matter where we go. So, you know, I would tell everybody just link up with a team to help you move forward financially, and I'm done you. Don't regret. You're still in that plantation, though. You know what I call it? The Constitution. Just the movement of somebody else's money in exchange for your time, you're never going to win.
You know, can you hear me, Sean?
Yeah, I hear you, Johnny.
You know, one of the biggest things, you know, I was reading in one of my books, if you want things to change, then you have to change.
Right.
And change is the most difficult thing that can absolutely possibly be done. It takes a leap of faith to say, you know what, where I'm at is not where I want to be, but I know I got to do something different. Right. You know, and change is very hard. But the rule of thumb, if you want things to change, then you have to change. Right? And that is so powerful. You know, of course, we get taught early, me and you and our other business adventures, leaders are readers. And, and you know, I just started my series of books, man, and it's just powerful, you know. And I would tell people, everybody know Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and, The Magic of Thinking Big. You know, there's so many good books, but I would tell you, find that book that touches you and then read it a second, a third, and a fourth time, because you will get something new out of it every time you read it.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Johnny, I'm afraid to be transparent and let you see my junkie bedroom for a minute, but these are books that's sitting down on the floor of my bed.
No.
Brother, like you said, leaders are readers. I read multiple books at a time. And see, here's the deal. And I just did this the other week when I was speaking. People who make $35,000 a year typically read one book a year, if that. CEOs, we tend to read 5 books a month, which is 60 books a year. So you got to look at that and gauge where am I financially based on where I read, you know? So, you know, like I said, readers are leaders. And if you're to the point where you just like you're stuck financially, it's just a matter of reading. And like you said, what I do, I read multiple books, but I read them over and over and over. First time I read through, I'll highlight. The second time I read through that book, I'll just read the highlights only. And then I'll highlight the highlights in a different highlighter, whether it's a red pen or a highlighter marker. So I'll read the book 5 times, but I'm narrowing it down, focusing on the key points. And I can read them faster that way because I don't need to read the fluff. I just need to read those PowerPoints. And, you know, every once in a while, some other stuff will jump out at me.
Bro, that's a good technique. You don't mind if I steal that, right?
Oh, no, definitely, brother. Definitely. Use that.
But, you know that's a good deal. Go ahead.
Yeah, but, you know, I listened to Jeff Cardone, and he talks about speed. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to have speed. And one of my mentors, Dr. Will Moreland, he talks about speed. The faster you can do stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because, like we say, time is money. And we're sitting there wasting our time you know, doodling around, spending our time. You got to invest that time, not spend that time. So everything I do, I multiply, use like time compounding aspect where we can get things done much quicker. And, you know, but if you're not reading them, finance is going to stay the same. It's just not going to change. There's no shortcut around that. You know, we're baking the cake. We can try to put the cake in the microwave. We can put it in a toaster, whatever you want to do. You still got to exhaust 20 minutes in that oven at 450 to get the cake.
Correct.
It's a process.
Correct.
You got to go through the process. And so many people want to skip the process. You just can't do that.
Right. You know, I call that trying to shortcut the shortcut.
Yep.
Right? There's so many people trying to shortcut the shortcut. Just go through the process and do the work. Everything will work out fine, you know?
That's it.
But, brother, it was nice talking to you. I'm getting off the exit to Atlanta International Airport. So, man, I will catch you when I get back to Atlanta, and the best is yet to come, my friend.
Absolutely, brother. Appreciate you, Johnny. Take care, brother.